Well, my name is Rick Yacoucci, Land Speed Racer. We race the 788 Nebulous Theorem III Streamliner at Bonneville. This year, we set our goal to go 400 on gasoline at Bonneville, and eventually we succeeded after some obstacles, but we did it. We went 409. The car is in its initial form has been around since '94. We did a major rebuild in 2012, built a whole new chassis for it, and implemented all the changes that we thought up over the last few decades. And so anyways, the car is in that form now. We built it around to be a 400-mile-an-hour car. Was never designed to have anything over 700 horsepower, somewhere in there. Now we designed something to hopefully do a couple thousand horsepower in eventual form. The car is quite unique because it's so small. It's 28 feet long. It's just a tad over 2 feet wide, and just wide enough for a small block Chevy. Actually, the valve covers have to be cut in order to make it fit. Then about the same height. I lay down pretty much flat on my back and barely look over. Well, we don't have a steering wheel. We have a handlebar. So it's almost like, you steer it almost like a motorcycle. Well, the fact that we're in this big, vast salt lake, there's not many landmarks. The only thing we have is we have these big orange mile markers, and in between them we've got these smaller black quarter-mile markers. To the left, for example, we got probably 3 miles away, we got this huge mountains, and of course what we call floating mountain, the one that we drive toward. That's probably about 10 miles away. But other than that, there's no landmarks. It's all white. It looks like snow, perfectly flat. See to the end of the earth. Pretty cool. We're in the high 300s. The quarter-mile markers are just coming by like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I mean, you're doing a mile in 8 seconds. 1 mile in 8 seconds. You're moving. I know. I put a smile on my face. I knew I was hauling ass. The packaging of the vehicle has always been a challenge because being so small. When we were running normally aspirated motors, it wasn't a challenge really because there wasn't as many components that we were trying to fit in. Now with a big 94 millimeter turbo in there and running all the exhaust to it and wastegates and intercooler, we very, very quickly ran out of space. Probably took 2 years to do the frame upgrade to its initial form to where it's at now. Then running the car has probably taken a couple of years now to get the tune-up, the traction control, the aerodynamics, all that up to speed to eventually do our 400 that we're at now. That's not the highest that we're planning on going. That was we're still turning the boost up every meet. This was only about 25 pounds of boost. We're eventually hoping to be on gasoline anyways, get into the low 30s. And then when we switch to alcohol, who knows? The biggest challenge was the exhaust. Getting the exhaust, our pinch point is right at the back of the cylinder heads, because not too far behind it is the back tires are right there. So getting around the back and because the turbo is positioned behind the engine and up high between the 2 rear wheels. So that was the biggest challenge, is getting all those pipes around the back of the cylinder heads. I picked Turbosmart because I started seeing a lot of Turbosmart products on other turbo builds and some LSR stuff, And well, after what now 6 years of running the product, we have not had any issues whatsoever. It is a no-brainer. It's the way all products should be. Put it on, run it, not have to worry about any maintenance, anything whatsoever to it, which is surprising because I've used some competitor wastegates that required, especially when you put them away off season, a lot of times these valves will get stuck. The Turbosmart, I've got a wastegate position sensor. First time that we fire up or first run with a motor with a valve actually opens up, it opens smoothly. It doesn't act like it was ever stuck or anything. So that is amazing in itself because we really beat this valve up. It's black. You know, they're nice and shiny when they're new. Mine's not. You know, mine looks like it's been toasted. It is black or blend. You know, so I can't imagine how much temperature I had to have taken. It lives in a very bad atmosphere or environment. I meant it has hardly any airflow to it, so it just sits there and cooks. And the first thing that goes through my mind is, you know, how does that diaphragm survive through that? You know, how often am I going to have to replace that? Well, 6 years, the original diaphragm, which is amazing.